Hey everybody, what's up? And welcome back to the garden. Today we are going to be doing a quick harvest. I know you've seen this before. Harvests are kind of fun though, because I don't know, you just never know what you're going to get. Anyhow, I guess the first thing I wanted to get is get in here and get some of these tomatoes. These tomatoes have been given and given and given and given. They are so heavy, they've fallen over, the sticks have broken. Kind of annoyed by that, but that's besides the point. I've got a really nice selection of colorful heirlooms here, and some of them are getting actually pretty dang big. I really had a big selection of just like hodgepodge seeds that I ordered from different places. Some of them were mixes, some of them were unidentified seeds, and I'm happy to see that there were some larger ones in here. I can tell I've got some yellows and some oranges and probably some pink brandywines or something like that. Don't really know for sure, but that's part of the fun. In case you were wondering, trying to figure out how to, when these things are ripe, that's part of the problem. In general, I just give them the good old squeeze and twist method. I just put my hand on there, and if it feels soft, it's probably ripe, and then I give it a little twist, and if it falls off in my hand, then I know we're good to go. Or something is seriously wrong, like a bug's been in it. But luckily, I haven't had too much trouble with the bugs. I've had a couple hornworms in here, but for the most part, they ain't done no damage, and I've just been throwing them over the fence in the neighbor's yard. So, whoops, oh well. Don't throw your hornworms over in your neighbor's yard, that's rude. Hey, did you ever think that maybe that's why your neighbors don't like you? Is because you always be throwing hornworms over in their yard? Jeez, what is your problem? Anyway, I got some big monsters on here ready to ripen up pretty soon, and hopefully we'll be eating on them pretty soon. I still have loads and loads of cherry tomatoes just everywhere. I can't begin to even explain how many cherry tomatoes I have. I've been eating them every day. I don't know what else to do with them. I've been giving most of them away. For this particular video this day, I don't know how many pounds of tomatoes this was. I could make a really awesome video like 700 pounds of tomatoes in a 10-foot space. Awesome yields. Like, listen, that ain't my cup of tea. I ain't here to tell y'all about yields. If y'all want to, like, learn how to get better yields, you probably going to have to go somewhere else, because it's just not my thing. I just love to grow stuff, and I love to eat stuff out of the yard. I'm not really big on the whole, science behind things. I know it personally works for me, and I do what works for me, but I ain't here to convert you, tell you what to do, tell you what to buy, tell you how to fertilize your garden, because your yard's different than my yard. Seriously, you gotta just kind of feel it out and figure that out. I know it took me a long time to figure out what works in my yard, and now that I finally did, I feel like the results are really good. I have this pretty much jungle of food, and I mean, yeah, it's not as neat as it could look if I had raised beds everywhere and all that, and spacing, but I'm getting the most yield that I can, which I ain't gonna complain about. Y'all knew I was gonna say that, didn't you? Anyhow, I think that's really about all I can say about these tomatoes. I don't know. I'm probably not going to make another tomato video unless I'm going to make pasta sauce or something, because I'm sure y'all are tired of seeing this. Are y'all tired of seeing this yet? I don't know. Anywho, what else is going on in the yard? I don't really even know, honestly. Aside from the tomatoes, the corn is finally ready to be harvested. Now, whew, I've been talking about this corn forever. I feel like I've been patiently waiting for the corn harvest. Like, ooh, sweet corn. This is my favorite time of the year. I just love sweet corn. It's great. I mean, if you've ever had like real fresh sweet corn, you know what's up. Like, that stuff is delicious, but the fact of the matter is, it is just so hard to grow when you're growing in a little teeny tiny backyard in a I don't know, like a 4-foot by 6-foot space, and you're just cramming some plants in there. It can be really frustrating, but hey, I'm here for better or worse, so I guess I'm gonna show y'all my little corn harvest. It don't look that good, so don't judge me. I did the whole, stereotypical thing, like go through and squeeze on your corn and like, ooh, that feels good, that feels nice and full, to figure out when it it was time to harvest it. I know people always say, wait till the silks turn brown, but that's not always the most reliable. I feel like sometimes my silks turn brown really early and it's not even ripe yet, and I open them and I'm just like, well, that was a letdown. Thanks for the disappointment, internet. But that's besides the point. It really is one of those things that the more you squeeze on your corn cobs, the better it gets. I don't know where I was going with that, but you get a feel for it, and you kind of just over time figure out what's ready to harvest and what's not. And then once you open them up, of course, you can, do the whole milk stage test thing with your fingernail, which I think I did in this video. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of recording the audio ahead of time, so who knows what's gonna be in this video. Not gonna lie to y'all, I'm just kind of winging it like always. Gotta make sure it's a 10-minute video though, because we want that ad revenue. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, you guys are you're helping pay for the tulip bulbs, so I really appreciate you for that. Thank you. I really appreciate that, because without you, I would not have any tulips this year. Just like I didn't have tulips last year, I couldn't afford it. Gotta prioritize things. Anyhow, the sunflowers are really tall. I'm still getting zucchini. The amaranths are tall. It's a mess in here for the most part. The zinnias are still looking, to be expected, even though powdery mildew, I'm still yelling about it. I still haven't done anything about it. I'm like the anti-gardener. I love to garden, but I don't really like to garden. I enjoy growing things, but I'd rather just let it grow itself, and I'm kind of hands-off, which I know, shame on me, worst gardener ever, but it is what it is, and that's all that it is. Did I tell y'all I'm working on an ebook? I'm working on an ebook. I've been working on it for quite some time. I'm trying to get it out before the end of next month. Don't quote me on that, though, because I could lose the internet, I could not have a computer, I could procrastinate, I could start a new hobby of knitting. There's really no telling with me. I'm not very good at planning things, so I'm just being honest with you guys. Amaranth looks pretty good too. They're starting to plume up. I think they're so nice looking. This is the bronze, and I have the burgundy. The bronze is the golden giant. I think the burgundy is Elena's Rojo or something like that. Here we are picking the corn. I knew I picked the corn sometime in this video. I wasn't quite sure. You can see my cobs, they look decent, but the stalks are real short. So I shucked these. Shout out to y'all for telling me that word. I knew the word was shucked. I just, I don't use that word on a regular basis, so my brain was like, duh, what do I do? I shucked them, that's right. Yes, look at that shucking. Look at that shucking corn. Holy shuck! Look at the corn! Well, as you can see, this shucking corn didn't get pollinated very well. Well, that's actually a lie, because I do believe the pollination was really good, because if you look at the bottom of these cobs, you can see the lower level is filled in very nicely. This leads me to believe that the main problem that we had here with this harvest is kernel abortion. Yeah, sounds great, doesn't it? Well, if you look at some of these kernels that aren't formed, you can see they're kind of dented in. I think I'll zoom in on it here in a second. That kind of dented in look tells me that those, for whatever reason, became stressed as they were beginning to fill out. So it could have been heat. We had a lot of hot weather as these were filling out. It could have been drought. There was no rain. It could have been lack of sun. These are in the shade, and there were some overcast days. For whatever reason, some of these kernels aborted. And that's not the case with all of them. You can look at the very tippy top of the cobs, and it does look like a lack of pollination up there, but that's pretty common because, that's the last of the silk to be pollinated and everything like that. So overall, I am not disappointed with this corn. I mean, I'm disappointed, but I'm not mad about it because I feel like my pollination was on point. I know I told you guys I made it like a point. I have to pollinate these. It has to be gorgeous. And I did that. I mean, really, this was, I don't want to say it was beyond my control because I'm not quite certain it was beyond my control. I could have watered it. I probably could have done something maybe to help this situation. But this just wasn't our year, guys. Maybe my plants were too close together. I had several plants close together. That's a stressor. Maybe that was the cause of it. But either way, we'll just keep on trying to get some nice corn. The saga continues. How to grow nice corn in your backyard in the middle of the city. On the next episode of Why Does My Garden Suck? I'm not going to throw these silks away. I'm going to dry those, and we're going to use those for something else. Secret. It's not edible. It might be edible, but we're not going to eat it. I'm going to use it for a soap making project. So stay tuned for that one. That should be a real great one. Just taking a closer look at these corn. Listen, I ate these corn and they were delicious. It doesn't matter that they didn't fill out all the way. I mean, boo, yeah, I wish they would have, but nevertheless, this stuff was tasty. It was so good. This was Honey Select. Probably won't grow Honey Select again. Maybe I will. I don't know. It just depends on what I have available to me next time around. I really like the Bodacious variety. It always performs well in my yard. It was sold out this year, and I was really bummed out about it, but who knows, maybe next time. Overall, I think I got a pretty good harvest today. Here's a shot of my tomatoes and my corn together. I need a bigger bowl. Some of them tomatoes are really big, and I was dropping these things. I was trying to carry them out to my car, and I was just dropping them all over the sidewalk. I'm sure I looked ridiculous trying to balance all this stuff, but maybe next time I'll bring a box with me, and I can pick my food then. I've still been getting okra. I tried to videotape. 1992, I'm here to videotape you. Anyway, I tried to record picking okra, and simply put, it did not work out. I was like shimmying in there, and I was like cussing up a storm, because you know how okra plants are kind of like prickly and pokey, and there were bees everywhere, and I was tripping, and it was itchy, and mosquitoes, and I'm just complaining, but the okra looked nice, and the okra tasted nice too, and I hope you enjoy this footage of my okra. Great looking okra. Y'all can just ignore the little bit of grass sticking up there. Ain't no big deal. Just pretend like we don't even see that grass. I mean, what grass? What are you talking about? Weeds? No. Anyhow, okra looks real nice, and they're about 4 foot tall. Hopefully they'll get a little bit taller. I kind of like them at the end of the season when they're nice and tall, and you can use the pods once they start to dry out for flower arrangements. It looks pretty nice and fancy in the middle of my garden. I think they'll be a nice accent. These are planted right next to the roselle, and I can't wait. The roselle bushes are still, growing pretty tall. They're hard to get a picture of because of where they're situated, but they haven't started flowering or anything yet. I'll be sure to get that and show you guys as soon as they flower. Their flowers really do look like the same as cotton and this okra. I think they're all in the same family. Maybe not. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. I'm just talking. I'm just some person on the internet showing you the garden. Don't quote me on that. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, the sunflowers and everything, they're just about done blooming, which is a bummer, but I was under the impression that these sunflowers were supposed to be branching sunflowers, and I've not seen any branches forming, which is a bummer. I mean, I'm glad they got to be like 14 foot tall, but it would have been nice if they would have, I don't know, sent some branches out so I could have a longer bloom. That was the whole point of wanting a branching variety, is so once they bloom, they'd keep on blooming. Either way, though, it's nice. The flowers have started forming a seed head. These varieties have pollen, so I'm sure the goldfinches, or whatever they are, can't wait to start climbing all over these things and eating all the seeds out. That's really about it. I hope y'all are having a real great day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.